Oh. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Could I get a designated note taker for today?
I'm happy to do it unless anybody else wants to.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Let's get into new faces. Is there anyone here that would like to introduce himself, or is it a new face?
I think I am new.
Hey, Casas. All right.
That's cheating.
Oh, you're all good. Oh, interesting. Sorry, Samuel. Do you have a?
Okay.
Like I said, I'm new here. I've been working on some small stuff for the Buildpacks, rather on the Python side. And I just wanted to come to see if I could help move some stuff forward, because we are starting to use that here at EDApp, and having interest in there for current future application development.
Thank you so much for coming. I don't know that we have at this exact moment any Python maintainers on the call, but I certainly would love to hear what you're working on and be able to help direct some work there.
Yep, I'm interested too. I'm not a maintainer, but I have contributed to the Python build packs. So curious what you're up to. Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
I can post some links if I can manage to find the correct URL.
You have some time. If you want to look some stuff up and that sort of thing. I don't want to just put you on the spot here and say you have to give a presentation about what you're doing, obviously, but you have some time. We have like an open mic discussion section later in the meeting, so you got plenty of time to hunt down any links that you want.
Just for the minutes, which company did you say you were from?
Excuse me?
Just for the minutes, which company did you say you were from?
The EDApp Research Institute.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. I'm going to write it in the minutes. If you can correct it to make it wrong or correct, that would be great.
There.
Perfect. I gotcha. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay. With that, we can get into reviewing outstanding RFCs. Give me 1 minute here. Share my screen. Excellent. All right. Welcome, Samuel, I guess I should say. And for the first part of our meeting, we typically go over any open RFCs we have. So that's what we're going to do right now. We'll probably be pretty concise because we only have 2 and they're both sort of in a draft state. So we're just going to do a quick check-in on these. First up, we have decoupled dependencies from Buildpacks. This is on me. I was out most of last week. So I haven't had any time to look at this, and there's some other things that I'm working on around this. I need to basically just open this and refresh it and remove some subsections from it. I need to also reach out to Jan and Daniel and like talk about actual delivery methods for this. I think one of the biggest hangups that I was having before we set this aside so that we could actually narrow down on what dependency metadata should look like was the actual sort of asset that we would be forming with this and who would be building it and how it would be being consumed. Because I think that the way that it stands is there's a number of consumers that have different goals, but I don't know that they're conflicting goals. So I think obviously just Buildpacks maintainers would like this because you could separate the dependencies from the dependency build pack, which means that the versioning for the build pack could not necessarily be tied to what dependency you're attaching to it. So a major bump isn't necessarily indicative of a change inside the dependency build pack, but it would be on the package, it would be indicative of something else. I think that that's something that was desirous. But I think another thing that was being brought up was effectively allowing users to more easily vendor their own dependencies, for lack of a better term. Like bring your own dependencies, I guess, and have the build pack install them. So I need to reach out to Jan and Dan and get like and I mean all of you obviously, but I was having a bunch of back and forth with them, and get more of a feel of exactly what they're looking for, or like what like the aim is. So I have ideas on this, but I think it's going to take a little bit of finagling.
I have maybe a thought that might lead to a question. So I was recently messing with like a Java build pack, and I had to actually it was Go. I had to pin the build pack to a certain version in order to get a certain version of Go. So like, are we envisioning a future where you never have to do that anymore? Like the only time you change the build pack version is because there's some functionality, but then you somehow control the version of Go or Java or whatever through an environment variable.
Yeah, so I don't know that it's quite that. It's not quite you never have to do anything again, but like what it would mean is that you could do something like pin your version of the dependency while continuing to get underlying version updates for the dependency build pack. So it would mean that they weren't necessarily like tied together, and so we're like I'm trying to see if we can find a way to not necessarily tie it to the language family as a whole, if that makes sense. There's some compatibility guarantee questions and that sort of thing, or like, phasing things in and out and whatnot. But like the idea is that I think the idea in my head is that we have an individual dependency metadata package that can just basically be added to build times, and then through some means, I don't know, the mechanics on that are up for interpretation, and it is independent from, like, say, the larger language family. So you can get the latest Go language family, but use an older dependency pack, or one that you put together yourself. And that would solve another, I don't want to say issue, but it would solve another thing where we have people asking us to make like releases for like beta versions so that they can test them out, and we've kind of staunchly said we don't do that. We don't do the beta versions. Like it's not what we do. But potentially this could be a way for, if we make it such that it's a thing that end users can also produce, they could inject their own dependencies through the build pack and see if it works or not. That might be a long lost dream of this. We'll see, but I think the real dream is to like have it such that you have a set of metadata and you have like basically the rest of the language goodies, and the two are separated so that you can update one without affecting the other, and vice versa.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure when you reach out and talk about it, like what is the user experience, and like how do people do that kind of stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Next up, we have the proposal to publish multi-arch build packs. Jericho, is there any updates you got here?
No updates. I still need to go and look at the RFC that got merged and approved, right? I've been working with the CNB community. I have an update that I'll give later, but I've also had some other stuff going on internally, and every time I think I have time to start working on this, I don't. So I will get there very soon. Just haven't had a chance to look at it.
I will say, I think that the change that we put in, no one that to my knowledge has taken the time to go and update all of the points inside of like Packet and Libpack for parsing that stuff out. So that might be something that you'll also have to look into or collaborate with maintainers on. Hopefully we can get to it sooner rather than later.
Sounds good. Yeah, actually, I mean, I'll just, I was going to ask this later, but I guess it's kind of related. So I believe it's like Postal. When you do the unit testing, you're using some library, to basically download Buildpacks offline.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the approach is that you download the GitHub release to do it. Does that sound familiar?
Download Buildpacks offline, downloading GitHub. Depends on what you're talking, exactly what you're talking about.
So like some of the unit tests, maybe integration tests, some of the tests, they download, like basically they use the GitHub release. And as we think about multi-arch and, you know, making this more broadly supportable, I don't know that that approach is going to be the best plan. So I guess supporting images instead of just GitHub releases. I feel like it only supports GitHub releases at this time. Like it downloads a tarball of the build pack.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're talking about during the integration tests when it downloads the various build packs it needs.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a sticky circumstance around a library called Freezer, which I own. There are ways to get the images that you're looking for. That's an interesting discussion question that I would love to talk to you about that. I would love to switch to images because then the daemon does everything for you for basically for free, and Pack basically does everything for you basically for free. That's not quite correct based on like poll stuff, but anyway, that would be something interesting. I think that the offline testing we do introduces a couple of interesting wrinkles, but I would love to talk to you about that at some point.
Cool.
That,
Okay.
that only matters for a subset of the build packs, right? Like I can see that clearly, like for the runtimes themselves, but like in the node case, there's a whole bunch of them, and it probably only matters for like the node engine versus a bunch of the others, which will be sort of architecture independent.
Well, I guess everywhere that we do something offline, we build it locally, actually. So maybe it doesn't matter.
So I ran into an issue where I had to download a release from GitHub. And then I was like, okay, I can't do this. I have to have a release first.
the online stuff will be a problem, but switching to the images is an interesting idea. I would love to talk to you about this. I don't want to necessarily eat it up right here, but we could either talk to it about it at the end of this, or you could reach out to me as well.
Okay, cool. And I guess the last update that I'll just talk about this. I put this in CNB project updates, but I'll just give the reason why I put that there. So there's a mentorship project that I'm working on with a couple other people from CNB, and we're going to look into using BuildKit so that when you run pack build, you could create multi-arch images. If we can get this to work and all goes well, part of the delay is that a lot of the testing and CI uses pack to build images and test them, and it would be far easier if we could just create multi-arch images with pack rather than change the whole CI to run on different builders and do tons of emulation. I mean, it would be doing emulation, but pack would do it for you. So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of focusing on this is, the more you look at CI and multi-arch, the more you realize you probably need to have full support to really get it to work. So that's a priority that I'm working on. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't moved forward on the multi-arch draft RFC.
So what this is saying, sorry, if I can understand what you're saying correctly, is what Pack would let you do is when you run a Pack build, you could do like Pack build, and then architecture, and that architecture could be x86 or AMD, or excuse me, ARM, or ARM, and from that it would generate an image, and then would you actually be able to run an ARM image in a Docker instance that is on an x86 platform and see it run? Like, does Docker have the capability to do that? Like,
you can use you'll use emulation. So
Sure.
The same emulation you use to build the images, you can use to run them.
okay.
But would it even like for example, if your base image is multi-arc already, could it even like Pack say, okay, I see this as multi-arc and therefore I'm going to build the new image bit off of that to be multi-arch, figure out, okay, there's 3 platforms to support. I'm gonna do it in a way that supports those 3 platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I think like part of the reason this proof of concept is there is like the experience today is that when you say pack build, you're using the daemon, so you're on whatever architecture you're on. But this future feature would be that if maybe like in theory you pass platform arguments, then you're generating a multi-arch artifact. You have to push it to a registry, and then you could use it. So I mean, there's like the more you look into it, the more you have to have some caveats, but that's what this project is about. So like it's just I feel like we can't you can't really think about multi-arch without trying to think about the build experience as well. And especially, like I said, the CI and all the testing relies on packs. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to prioritize this.
For sure.
That's it for me.
It's great. And so this is just this would just be for pack build for the images. Like, can you already do like what is it? Pack create build package, like whatever. What is it? Pack build package create. Like can you already do like create one of the like a multi architectured manifest?
So no, but that's in progress.
Okay.
So like we had the previous mentorship, we added support for manifest images, and there's I think an RFC or an issue, I'm not sure, but Juan has already something where like somebody's looking into doing that, and I'm not really focused on it, but yes, like we really need that as well. So
Yeah.
we're kind of trying to tackle both things at the same time, because you're right, you need to be able to have both. Right now it's clunky. You have to you have to do it with emulation, with build kit, different runners. So we're trying to make that better.
And this wouldn't be actually, that wouldn't work. All right, never mind. Yeah, well, perfect. Sorry, I was trying to think like would we be doing the same manifest list for the pack build, but that doesn't work that way because you install specific. Yeah, perfect. I'm there.
Yeah. Once you start doing manifest images for build packs, builders, base images, we're just pulling, and whatever architecture you're on, it just works. So
For sure.
yeah, but images all the way, basically.
Gotcha. Great. Awesome. Since we are over on this screen, are there any other CMB updates / questions? Great. Do we have any project updates? I don't think so. All right. And then finally, we have open mic questions / discussion topics. Samuel, if you would like to talk a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish here, or if you have any links or anything like that, that'd be a great time. Stop sharing my screen so I can give a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, I can share. And that's not the one. Too many Firefox windows. So currently, I've been mainly working on the Conda side of things. We already have a Conda build pack, but the issue is currently that Conda has some performance problems unless you are very, very precise with how you pin your dependencies. Hence, I did a pull request to be able to use the Mamba solver, which is the next generation solver that Conda uses. And that's the first time I'm working on actually modifying a build pack like that. And just like to have someone review that, see if there's already interest. I'll open a discussion here. That's a bit long, but I tried to cover a bit of all the use cases we had. And then while discussing with one of our colleague, we came up with the idea that we don't need necessarily to have a new Mamba-based build pack, since we could reuse the Mamba solver in Conda. So we avoid fragmenting the build pack ecosystem for Conda, but we still can manage to have the performance improvement from the solver. And we were also thinking about maybe adding other how to say that, package manager support in more long term. My colleague has been using Rye currently and is pretty satisfied with it. So he was wondering whether we should also prepare a build pack and maybe submit it rather than just us using it. So it's a bit that overall currently.
So I've actually never used Conda, so this is a little bit new to me. I've been using like the pip install build packs, and even I don't even think I've used Poetry. So would it be that you're just bumping like the old version of Conda doesn't have Mamba, and then you just use a new version of Conda, and that version has Mamba support? Is that like the intention?
No, currently the idea is that I've updated the version of Mamba used, but by default it's using its own solver. What the changes that I suggest do is that you install the Conda libmamba solver in addition to Conda, and then you configure it to use that solver rather than the original, which is what is done here. So people using the build pack, the Conda build pack, can continue using it, and if they would like to change the solver to the one from Mamba, they can do that through an environment variable where they state that they want Mamba. So it's on the build line that they can change that. So we can continue to update Conda as needed, and the people using the build pack can decide to change the solver rather than having a separate Mamba dedicated solver build pack.
Cool. Okay, so you're saying anyone who doesn't know anything about this and they're using Conda, they would get the default Conda solver. But if
Exactly.
they want, yeah, okay, this is cool. Yeah, I like that.
That was my goal, not to disrupt anything, and be able to for people interested to use that. There's also the option to have a mini forge build pack, which is Conda, but well, which is Mamba with the command line from Mamba and the defaults set for mini forge. But I'm not sure it's worth the effort, since it will just make things a bit more complicated for people. They have Conda from one side, but they could directly use Mini Forge, which is Conda uses what they call channels to be able to select where your package comes from. And there's a default channel, which is the one that's configured for Conda. And then you have the community channel, which is Conda Forge, which provides most of the packages. And the Mini Forge is by default configured to use that one. So I think most people that are currently using the Conda build pack either have configured that in their environment file, so they are already using that. They would benefit from just using the solver from Mamba, and they'd be happy with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so do you not use pip install when you use Conda?
You can as well. You can have dependencies. You can mix dependencies.
Okay, so it's kind of like Ubuntu. If you're installing some packages, like you can install Python packages from Ubuntu rather than using pip to do it directly.
Yeah, not all packages available in on PIP are available through Conda.
Okay,
Hence, you can mix both.
cool. I mean, this looks awesome. Again, I haven't used Conda, so I'm kind of learning as I go here, but all sounds good to me.
Well, it's a package manager that is mainly used in the research and academics because it allows to more or less easily install complex dependencies without rebuilding it. Most of the packages there are either pure Python or something that needs to be built, and that usually don't want to do that on your machine because you have to pull in a lot of dependencies, and Conda has you covered for that. Typically, PyTorch, for example, they started with Conda, TensorFlow as well, and it allows to make things pretty reproducible as well.
Cool.
Sounds great. I pinged some Python maintainers and asked if they could take a look at this PR. And then feel free as well to go into the Paketo Buildpacks Slack, and there's a Python channel. Reach out there as well.
Okay, will do.
But yeah.
Just
ahead.
I've opened a discussion if you want more details about the how things work and in which direction. So if you want to have some more information.
Awesome.
I think I'm mostly done here.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for sharing this, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. It looks great. Hopefully we can get some people to take a look at this.
Cool.
Are there any other open mic or discussion topic questions? No? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to this working group meeting. Hope everyone has a good rest of their week.
Likewise.
Bye. See everybody
Yeah.
later.
See you.
Same.